Right, part 4 of our M151 restoration vlog. And once again, I'm reporting not from the workshop, but from our permanent exhibition here at the Allied Museum. If you have not been to the Allied Museum yet, or you just can't get enough of us, you can visit us every day of the week from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. except Mondays. And the entry is free of charge. I also recommend you check our website for free guided tours and other offers at alliedmuseum.com. Last time we took a closer look at the underbelly of our Ford MUTT. We fought the rust and we also reassembled the now completely restored rear axle. This time we are focusing on the front axle. But first we are taking a look at the inside of the rear differential. Already during our test runs before disassembling the MUTT, we heard some rumbling sound coming from that back differential. That is actually quite unexpected for a car that so far has only run just between 3,000 and 4,000 miles. So for closer inspection, the differential needed to be disassembled completely. Even though there were no splinters to be seen, it became obvious that one of the cogwheels did show quite a lot of wearing, probably because some of the bearings were put together too tight. The cogwheel was replaced, as were the seals and sleeves, and the differential was put back together and filled with oil. The front differential only had its seals and sleeves and the oil replaced. Everything else was just hunky-dory. Next up was cleaning the drive shafts. They were quite dirty with a lot of excess oil and fat. And as I mentioned in the episode before, quite unusual for a vehicle with this little mileage on the clock was the state of some of the bearings. Some bearings had needles inside missing. One can only speculate what happened there really. Sloppy maintenance perhaps, or even quality issues on the assembly line, who knows. The next big project was the restoration of the front axle. It was taken off the car and put head first on 2 mounts to be disassembled further. And off came the brake drums, the coils, tie rods and so on, until all that remained was the front subframe that looks like it could be very much be the front of a 1950s automobile. What you can also see on the subframe is the different types and colors of paint used on the vehicle, but as promised before, there will be a special episode of the color on this particular M151A1. The subframe as well as other parts of the front axle were freed from their old coating and scoured. The bushings of the supporting arms were replaced with new ones. As it turned out, removing the old bushings required quite a lot of force, with the result of producing also quite a lot of scrap metal. The steering knuckles were up next, together with its shafts and flanges. After cleaning, all components received a new zinc and phosphate coating in order to protect them from corrosion. That way, the parts were put back in a nearly factory fresh state. The subframe also received its new black suit. In a second step, the subframe was painted in classic olive drab, just like it would have come out of the factory, and after some drying we reconnected it to the chassis. After that, the supporting arms were bolted back to the subframe. The rejuvenated steering knuckles received new bearings and were made ready to be able to be connected to the anchor plates and then ultimately to the front axle construction. And here we are. The coils are back in place as well. Next up are the anchor plates. They were also coming back in. And you can see that the brake cylinders have been replaced at the front, just like we did at the back before. The brand new brake hoses were also reconnected. However, the brackets holding the hoses will be attached only after the wheels have come back on, as the hoses need to be adjusted with the wheels on, so that there's no abrasion when the wheels are being turned. And as you can see, the new shocks did get a little redesign before they were put in. The front brake shoes had to be renewed because the old ones were simply too oily to be put back on. And so once again, we helped ourselves by ordering some new old stock parts. After completing the front axle, we were able to put our M151A1 back on its wheels, or at least in a state that it could be moved around in the workshop. We then turned our attention to the front bumper, or to be more precise, to what came to light when we detached it. The inner values, so to say, of some parts of the unibody construction are looking a bit rusty. It seems like the beams were just added to the car on the production line without any protection from corrosion. Anti-corrosion emulsions and wax will get rid of the problem though, and the damage can still be contained. But yeah, that's it for now this time, and in the next episode we're going to have a look at the engine of our Ford MUTT. So, see you then.